Thanks for the follow, like this Empire, baby. We're almost getting ready. I'm almost here. enjoy the stream, person? Come on, come on. Come on, boy, jump up. Come on. Come on. Come on. Oh. All right. Oops, that's your head, buddy. What was your head? All right, baby, let's do this. Spotify is too loud. If it is, let me switch it. All right, let's get this show on the road. What's good? What's good? My name is Dr. Ryan Terrell, Psych Sensei, and welcome to the stream, baby. I believe this is the unspoken title of this stream is called Ryan Reads. Because what I do is I read. That's right. Today we are reading about, yo, what's good, Legacy Empire? What's good, baby? Hope you're doing all right. Today we'll be reading about trash talking in esports, and does it come from society, or how is it influenced by society? I'm super stoked to be reading this. I'm so super stoked to be here with you. You know, honestly, when I think about trash talk, it's very interesting. As especially like a not diehard. I used to be a diehard. I'd say I'm more casual now. A more casual enjoyer of UFC and stuff like that. And you know, trash talk is one of those things, bro. Even in esports, trash talk is one of those things. I mean, for example, in CS, when you're seeing Team Vitality's trash talk another team in French, super fancy, love it. You know, or you got maybe JoJo in the EU now, not LCS. Unlucky. That was a rough one to let go. But we have types of players that do use trash talk, you know? And as a psychologist, the thing that's really interesting to me is not the behavior, friends. It's the function of the behavior. Like, if you're going to trash talk, do it intentionally. That's all. Like, don't trash talk and then something bad happens. Like, oh, I was just talking. Like, no. If you're going to commit to the bit, bro, you got to commit. So, if you do trash talk, why? What's the purpose? What do you get out of it? You know, how do you and when do you engage in it? How effective is it? You know, so if you're going to do something, do it intentionally, or at least understand the behaviors or things that you want to accomplish by doing the thing. You know what I mean? But me personally, you know, I've heard this quote once and it's really stuck with me. The quote was, always enter the ring cage field quietly, just in case you gotta leave quietly. You know, like, hey, if you're the heel and you can handle that, my ego, it's too fragile. I can't do that. But if that's you, hey, go for it. But that's just me. All right, if you really want to work with me, you want to work on your trash talk, you want to be more intentional in your games, your life, all of it, please visit my website, psychsensei.com. And you and I can sit down, figure out what's going on, figure out a plan to not be there, and figure out your own conditions today. So please visit my website, psychsensei.com. There you can find other resources like my Instagram, my LinkedIn, my YouTube, my TikTok, my Facebook, my Instagram. All that stuff can be found there. And give me a follow, a couple of watches, whatever. I try to drop some things all day, every day. So never miss a drop. And also, please follow me on Twitter. That's where most of my stuff lives. All right. Without any further ado, let's jump into it, shall we? And as always, this is a conversation. If there's things that you want to know or discuss or think about, please say in the chat. Then my ADHD can look at it and we can follow the bouncing ball. Because obviously, although I love reading, I love to talk with you guys instead. All right, so today's article is called Consuming Esports and Trash Talking, How Do Social Norms and Moderating Attitudes Moderating Attributes Influence Behavior. This is conducted by Erwin, Naweed, and La Stella. Come Coming from Australia, down under. Actually, look, this is actually pretty new. This is coming from 2022-23. So we got some. It's pretty recent, not gonna lie. All right. I'm not gonna read the abstract because that's gonna give it away. All right. Stop moving. Esports is a thriving digital environment where spectators congregate to watch their favorite professional players or team compete. It extends across various games and genres such as first-person shooters (FPS), which date back to the 1990s with games like Doom 1993 and Quake 1996. Dude, let me tell you, these games were groundbreaking. I remember waiting. Okay, this is going to date me, but I remember waiting in like a computer store because there was a line of people playing Doom and I really wanted to play, and I waited for like 20 to 30 minutes just to touch the computer. You don't do that nowadays, but back in the day, that's how video games used to be. You used to wait in line to play them. It was so rough. Has established a highly competitive scene in Western cultures in its own right. Current esports literature focuses largely on the consumptive needs of esports spectators. Established fandoms and communities have developed emotional and consumptive ties. Consumptive ties. They buy stuff of theirs to their chosen esports scene. Esports consumers have also used online forums and digital and social media to observe the attitudes and attributes of professional players. Interesting. Online forums serve as an information media where consumers can discuss and debate topics related to esports. However, social media has allowed fans to openly judge and criticize behavior, particularly if spectators witness acts perceived to go against their social norms, reflecting the value and beliefs shared within the community. You know, honestly, this was another behavior that's really interesting, especially when working with pro players. Pro players' relationship with Reddit. Like, I was working with this player, and the thing that he says, he goes, Ryan, you know, the thing that really bums me out is I'll either play a game like really well or really bad. And if I play really well, Ryan, I don't read Reddit. But if I play terrible, the first thing I want to do is go to Reddit. I was like, bro, why do you want to go to Reddit? He goes, because I want to see all the shitty things people said about me. And I'm like, why would you want to see that? He's like, no, I just got to know, though. I was like, dude, you know, after you lose, they're going to only say shitty things. Like, what? Why do you want to destroy yourself? Because then he's like, oh, because, you know, I gotta honor the fans and I gotta see what they're saying, you know? I was like, I guess, unless that's like your ritual afterwards to beat yourself up to remind you how terrible you are. I guess if that's what you're into, man, go for it. But at the same time, why aren't you ever looking at the good stuff? He goes, oh, because they have to say good stuff when I do good things. I'm like, dude, this is like a weird twisted confirmation bias. You know, you're just looking for all the things people are saying that is terrible of you to substantiate your feelings of how terrible you played and that you're a bad player. Like, why? Why do you need that reinforcement? And he just looked at me. I was like, I guess if you want to placate the fans, then that's a good time, but you don't have to. You don't owe the fans something when you lose. Say like, yes, I'm bad, you're right. Like, what? Okay. Also, the distance between esports and traditional sports, I feel like are so like it's closer in esports than like traditional sports. For example, like you could actually play with Simple in CS. You know, you could actually play with Double Lift, your favorite League Pro or Esport Pro in any like a Face It or like a Pug Match or like ranked play. Like you could see your favorite pro there, but you would never see LeBron James in like a 24-hour fitness. You know what I mean? Like, or you would never see like Kobe rest in peace at like a Planet Fitness balling out, you know, like that's not a thing. But in esports, you totally could see them and play with them and interact with them. It's wild. All right. In conventional sports, spectators engage in publicly shaming practices. In publicly shaming practices centered around an athlete's violation of social norms, which can lead to the withdrawal of support and adversely affect their careers. Oh, publicly shaming, not practices like game practice, but practices like behaviors. You know, when you think about it, it's actually kind of rough. Because I mean, no. Yeah, no. Yes, it is kind of rough. I think something as you get older that's kind of important to realize is that you can really appreciate what someone can do, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they're a good person. You know, for example, someone may be amazing at their craft, but they could be a terrible person. Like they could like run really fast or they could like fight really well, but like who they are as a person doesn't reflect the thing that they can do. So I think as a child or you're going through life, like you think if someone can do something, they're amazing. But I think as an adult, you can appreciate, wow, this person can do something, and at the same, wow, they're like not a great person. But I think it's harder nowadays where you have to be both a good person and a good thing or a good person in whatever you do, like in general, which I think is great, but harder for people if they're not good people. Anyway, whilst research has acknowledged that esports spectators judge behavior perceived to go against social norms, it is how and to what extent consumers communicate and distinguish social norms that is less understood. Okay. I really wonder where this is going because it's not going where I thought it would go, but makes sense. Okay. One practice governed primarily by its social norms is trash talk, where taunts and insults are directed towards others in a competitive scene, including opponents, fans, coaches, and team members. I mean, I wouldn't want you to trash talk your teammates or insult them, but hey, you know what? That happens. Here's your definition. Fine. Boom. I want to find it later. Okay. All right. No. The normative boundaries of trash talk differ across conventional sporting communities. True, and sports communities too. It has been debated as a fair act of mental fortitude, or rather a practice which goes against the values. Oh no. Goes against the values and ethics in competition. Bro, like league trash talk versus COD trash talk versus CS trash talk. Bro, have you seen Gears of War trash talk? So it definitely is bound by social norms because different communities have different perceptions of it and where it belongs or doesn't belong. So again, it's not the function of the behavior. It's not the behavior, it's the function of the behavior. And what communities allow that type of behavior to occur. In casual video gaming, it has been described as part of the social ethos where it is used to formulate friendships or alternatively to promote discomfort. I guess, I mean, sure. I think we'd call that banter. Maybe not trash talk, but that's like friendly banter, right? Like, but it's only friendly banter where I know that you and I are engaging in this for fun versus you and I are trying to kill each other or put each other down. You know what I mean? In a digital environment, esports players can manipulate the in-game mechanics to create unique trash talk practices, aka a teabag. Verbal acts, however, can be considered an experience enjoyed if shared and shared if they do not discriminate against social cultural themes of race, sex, and gender. Yes. So, for example, trash talk, physical trash talk in gaming could look like shooting your body, can look like emoting, can look like a teabag, can look like a spray. So, each of these things, depending on what the game allows you to do, provides you a different way to like trash talk. Essentially, if you want to think about this, it's kind of like the meaning of an emoji, and some emojis mean certain things and other things don't. But if you're not in with the culture or that friend group or whatever you like communication language via emoji that you understand, if you're outside of that, like you wouldn't get it. And one thing in one area may not be offensive, but if you did that in another area, it'd be super offensive, you know? In a digital environment, esports players can... Okay. So I'm gonna right here. This is... Oops. Or actions. The old teabag. You know, my question is, for you old people or FPS shooters. If you got teabag, does that really tick you off? Or if they get if they shoot your body, is that like really bad for you? Like, what is your reaction to someone teabagging you or spraying or like shooting your body? Okay, verbal acts, however, yeah. In a recent study focused, I'd say in a recent study focused on the esports scene, Erwin Nawid, literally observed that trash talk was perceived to be dialectical and mediated through three core elements: its motive, its context, and the people involved in a given act. Oh, okay, I'm not gonna lie. What kind of makes me giggle about reading these articles is I love that they break down like really common things into like not super, but they put them in like really professional language. Or like, oh, there's three components of trash talk. Like, oh, I never thought of it like that, but when you break it down like that, it makes total sense. The motive, the context, again, right? Did I not say this, bro? I said this. It's not the behavior, it's the function, it's the motive, right? The context and the people involved in a given act. All right, those three researchers concluded that further research of these elements would help increase our understanding of the ethics, acceptability, and underlying philosophy it's around this practice. I didn't know there was ethics around trash talk, but I guess maybe there's like a gentleman's handshake of like, yes, we don't say these things in engaging in trash talk. This is the line. This is banter, and that's violence. I think that's probably correct. There is an agreed upon handshake. As esports continues to grow in professionalism and popularity, understanding how its communities perceive and debate social norms is currently limited. In further research, it's required to aid in promoting positive satisfaction to consumers. Satisfaction to consumers. We just want our loot boxes back. Give us the loot boxes. All right. Theoretical framework. To explain how esports communities perceive trash talk, the study draws on Chung and Rimmel theoretical framework. This framework synthesizes various social theories to predict how social norms and moderating attributes influence behavior, drawing on the theory of planned behavior. Theory of planned behavior. Social norms. Okay, norm and attitude accessibility. And dual processing models of cognitive processing. Fair. And the theory of social... Wow, we're pulling out theories left and right. Theory of social normative behavior. Theory of planned behavior. Theory of social normative behavior. Dual process model of cognitive processing. Norm and attribute accessibility. Okay, fair. Whilst other research has brought in and modified these theories, Chung and Rimmel argue that individually such frameworks can prevent delineating underlying conditions, how behavior is evaluated and processed. Ooh, you can tell that they're British right here. You know how they're British? Behavior. Shown in Figure 1, Chung and Rimmel framework emphasize the relationship between core social norms and modulating attributes in a given situation and how they shape behavior. Let's check out Figure 1. Okay. These are okay. These social norms influence behavior, intention, which influences the behavior. This makes sense to me. Then, the modulating attributes go here, intervene here, and then, okay. Cost. Privacy. Okay, I'm interested to see how they bring these things. This makes sense, though. Like, the social norms dictate your intention, which dictate your behavior, and the things that kind of modulate your intention and behavior or what you want to do in addition to the social norms or the modulating attributes. I think that's how they're gonna lay it down, but hey, you know what? That's just me reading the graph, so let's get down to what they said. All right, descriptive norms refer to beliefs about what behaviors can within a social group, and injunctive forms refer to behaviors driven to avoid social sanctions. Beliefs about behaviors. Descriptive norms. Beliefs about behaviors within a social group. Oh, okay. And injunctive norms. Refer to behaviors. Okay. Okay, so this is beliefs. Beliefs. Avoid conflict due to social norms. I think is the asterisk there. Okay, put succinctly, the former refers to what people actually do, whereas the latter refers what they ought to do. Okay. Actually do. And this is not want to do, right? Ought. Ought. Okay. I feel like that's not really well defined. Beliefs about behavior. Okay, fine. I guess beliefs about behavior is what they actually do. Okay. Think okay. In video gaming, players will avoid performing aggressive behaviors towards others as it goes against the normative beliefs shared within the community and avoid social repercussions, such as being reported and banned from the match. Makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. On the other hand, subjective norms, and this is define your term, refers to behaviors which are acted in accordance to perceived social pressures of a group. A key premise here is social pressures. Okay. A key premise here is how the influence of norms and attributes will alter depending on the time in a given situation, particularly as when an individual makes a spontaneous decision, she will likely enact a behavior that is informed by the most salient attitude or norm that comes to mind in that moment. In contrast, when an individual has time to deliberate before acting, she will have the cognitive ability to consider both attributes and norms when making her decisions. Okay, so if spontaneous, you're just doing it on the available attitude or norm. But if you're able to think about stuff, you have consider the norm and attitudes. Okay, this is the key word. Or and cognitive ability, impulsivity, spontaneous. All right, makes sense to me. That's why they always tell you to think before you act. Okay, in diverse circumstances, Chung and Rimmel believe that certain modulating attributes can be amenable to change. Moderating attributes are underlying cognitive factors, which affect the relation between the perceptions of social norms and behavioral intentions. Okay. Chung and Rimmel extend previous theories on normative behavior to further identify moderating attributes at a behavioral, individual, and contextual level. Apart from functionality, which is based on Katz's approach towards functional analysis, Chung and Rimmel use previous theories to develop their own definitions of each attribute. Table 1 provides an overview of these attributes. Oh, interesting. I think this is interesting. Understanding how behavior is modulated when it occurs in a public or private setting. Which makes me think, if you're tilting in a public setting, or you're trash talking in a public setting. Huh. Okay. the more addictive behavior, the less likely norms will influence. Oh, interesting. That is fascinating. Influence of norms will increase within the goal to fit a certain group. Okay. The extent of ego identification, ego identity, the extent of one's self-identity aligns with a given issue or behavior. These are really interesting. I really want to see how they break this down to esports. Okay. While social norms become established in a given setting, moderating attributes can influence the impact one acts in accordance with. For example, smoking among adolescents can be influenced by group environment. You mean peer pressure? Where the behavior can be encouraged within the individual's peers and friendship group. In an esports context, it can be speculated that players will engage in trolling, verbal in-game harassment, when they witness others performing similar behavior. It can be speculated. In current trash-talking literature, the impact of moderating attributes has thus far been explored through self-efficacy. I hate that word. I hate saying this word. I mean, it's really important, but damn, I hate saying it, and outcome expectations. However, extent to which consumers observe various moderating attributes and their influence on social norms and behaviors has not been identified. Through the lens of Chung and Rimmel frameworks, the aim of the study was to see how communities react, judge, and analyze active trash talk witnessed in esports. The research question guiding the study asked what governs community perception of trash talk in esports. Man, the esports community is also really interesting. Okay, I'm gonna blaze through this because I just want to see a couple of things. Okay. Qualitative. Okay, they use CSGO, Overwatch, RIP, Rainbow Siege. What? Most popular of the genre at the time of data collection, I guess. They looked at just tax shooters. What about Valorant, son? It was around. Okay, due to the limited research on trash talking in esports, this study's focus towards discovering how consumers perceive its practice, a qualitative approach was required. Okay. Oh, they did data harvesting. And was undertaken on Reddit, bruh. I mean, see, this is the thing that ticks me off. You know what ticks me off, bro? I also tried to do a study using this Reddit, and I got banned because apparently you can't do studies. Whatever. I'm not salty or whatever, but whatever. Okay. Okay, so they searched up on the kind on Reddit to look at threads. Pop-offs and roasting. Okay. So they looked at terms. 106 threads were read. Damn, they were reading threads, son. Okay, so basically what I'm hearing is they basically looked through Reddit posts and analyzed the data, talking about trash talking and why they did it. Oh, let's go. Okay, this is the terms they use. Trash talk, banter, taunts. Taunts, I guess. Shit talk. Yup. Pop off. I mean, roasted. Okay, fair. Not trolling. Not like shit talk. Shit talk. Any other words you would have searched chat for trash talk or inclusion? I wouldn't have used taunts. I mean, I would use shit talk. I would have used banter is a good. Okay, here's some examples of banter. You ready? Uncoy with the quality trash talk. Dogman just pulled away his mic from his mouth and yelled, "Curse is a feeder" to the crowd. This is the kind of banter and trash talk we need, boys. Here's an example of a taunt. As everyone said, he's a really nice guy to hang out with, and he just likes to play a sarcastic and taunting character. That's... What? How is... Alright, I'm now going to take this article with a grain of salt, because literally the only thing that's highlighted is this. That's it. What? There's no, like, this is a taunt. You suck. Nanny, nanny, boo, boo. You know, what? What is happening? Okay, here's another one. Oh, example, Reddit, there's titles and comments. Okay. They are friends. He's just talking shit during a match. It doesn't mean anything. Maybe I have different expectations of how I thought the study was going to go. But I'm trying to be open instead of prejudging. So let's just put my head down. All right, here's another example of pop-off. If you're upset at the pop-offs, you have a... I guess pop-offs is a British term. If you're upset at the pop-offs, have a wank and go to sleep. Competitive game is clearly not for you. Oh my god. You know, honestly, I really like... This should just been the tank. Have a wank and go to sleep. VP deserves a roasting. I feel like they have been making excuses for 2 years. Alright. Exclusion themes. Harassment towards other users. Okay, memes and jokes. Shazam was the Rat King before the Rat King became the Rat King. Alright, deleted comments. Fine. And non-English. Fine. Irrelevant off-topic comments. God, why did Troy have to leave? Okay, fine. It's really interesting. I'm not gonna lie. The inclusion thing of what they're saying trash talk is kind of interesting. I want... Okay. Social norms associated with trash talk. All data was first analyzed inductively using descriptive coding. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. All right. This is what you came for, baby. This is what you came for. All right. Results revealed from forms of social norms associated with trash talking esports and the influence of moderating attributes. Supporting literature is referenced throughout the support. Okay, whatever's. Oh. Damn. All right, so 8,826, 2,821. That's a lot of freaking reading. A lot of undergrads did this. All right. Injunctive, descriptive, and subjective norms of trash talk. Esports consumers debated the use of trash talk in relation to their social norms throughout discussion. For instance, the subjective norms around the use of trash talk varied around the match. If trash talk occurred before the match, it was perceived to promote hype and add excitement to the game. Interesting. Okay. So they're using time. So they said before the match. Okay, before the match, hype, promote hype, and add excitement for the game. Post-match, perspectives around acceptability altered depending on the level of respect shown towards the... Oh. Interesting. After all the trash talking, having good sportsmanship and handshaking each other, even hugging after the match is over. And in CSGO, I was just hoping that they could tell where the line was drawn. If you win the post-match interview you are going to get after lifting the trophy is not exactly the best place. Be respectful to opponents that you beat. You can trash talk them next time you face them, rubbing that match on in their faces, but immediately after beating them is not such a good moment. I like that. I like that. I think maybe that's it too. Maybe trash talk is like the game within the game. And maybe if you want to play this trash talk game, I think, you know, both in gaming and trash talk, I think this is the word, right? This. Oops. This. Be respectful. Right? Like, I think that's it. Like, I feel like if there's a level of respect between you and your opponent, sure, trash talk is trash talk, but I think that's what delineates between actual flame and trash talk, where if I'm flaming you, I don't respect you. I don't see you as a human or a person. I don't, you know, what's another word for it? I'm trying to right-click respect right now. well, I just don't see you as a person, or I don't value you and what you're doing at your craft. You know, I don't respect that. So I think if that's removed, now the trash talk is like real, and now we're fighting, right? I think trash talk is like this, like as they describe it, it's just kind of banter between me and my opponent. That yeah, we may get heated, and we may like try our hardest to beat each other up and kill each other on the map. But once that's over, like we were just playing a game, versus really I'm telling you these things, and they're not personal attacks. Yeah, I think in general, maybe that's the problem, is that there's just a lack of respect of seeing people as people, and just, you know, and forgetting that aspect. Okay, all right. Descriptive and injunctive norms of trash talk were evident depending on the context of the 5 sub-themes recurring throughout. Sub-forms of trash talk where trash talk was focused on a player's personal matters of their performance. Jesus. Personal matters or their performance. The current status of the player / team. Whether trash talk was excessive. And if trash talk was to offend others or defend oneself. Interesting. Conventional sport and video game literature have acknowledged the different subforms of trash talk, which alter its perceptions across given communities, such as banter, has been associated to provide humor and release tension, whereas toxicity can demote player and viewership satisfaction. Consumers indicate that the difference between banter and toxicity depends on the attitudes expressed by the professional players. I like this one. Yo, personal matters. I feel like that's kind of rough, man. Their performance, okay, you can bag on someone's performance because that's something they did. But if you do like something personal, now we're fighting, I feel like. Or if like you comment on the status of the team, like, or yeah, if it's excessive, or if it's just to be mean, you know, like I feel like, and you let me know what you think about this, chat. I feel like trash talk is an art form. You know, I feel like it's an art form, and I feel like it's art because there are unspoken rules to it, you know, and I feel like esports isn't like UFC where there's actually, after all the talking, I actually get to fight you, versus like, oh, we're gonna go into the Nexus, or we're gonna go on a map and play. Like it's so much more removed, you know. That's why, like, I get it. At the same time, we're not killing each other IRL. All right, differences between banter and toxicity depends on attitudes expressed by professional players. Banter and trash talk is fine as long as it's done in good taste. Fair. Just calling the other team an expletive is boring. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's so boring. Like, if you just call your opponent shit, like, you're not even trying. Like, get creative, bro. We've heard you're trash, you're dog. We've heard all those things before. Like, if you're going to banter, hit me with something creative. You know, like if you just comment on how I look, like, come on, bro. Easy. If you just call me a shitter, like, come on, bro, easy. Give me something. Give me something that's like, ooh, I haven't heard of that one before. That's a good one. You know, like, but don't make it personal, or like, don't make it excessive. But I want it to be creative. You know, like, that's the kind of banter I want. You know, I don't know. Have you ever bantered like in game IRL? Like, ooh, you know what? That was a sick burn. That was a good one. Like, that's the kind of trash talk I want to receive. And you know, honestly, that's the kind of trash talk I give. You know. Just personally. Just calling the other team exploiter is boring and it just damages your image. Fair. But finding a creative way to banter is funny and can add flavor to the league. This is what I'm saying. And the best part too is if you get someone real good, you know, and they like touche you, bro. That's like respect. You know, like that you won the banter game. Respect. Oh no, you've now won the mental game because they're gonna fear you next time they have the microphone. You know, like, oh my god, what is he gonna say? What's he gonna say? Like, for example, everyone else is trash. Like, that's such a great line. You know, that wasn't too bad. It wasn't egregious, but it came iconic. You know, like that's the type of banter, and that was like him saying, "I'm confident" too. You know what I mean? That's good banter. Or like use a metaphor, use a simile, get poetic, baby. Like that takes some time. Take some time, do some research. You know? All right. In casual video game research, personal topics such as race, gender, and sexuality have been described as unsettling and offending to one's opponents. Yeah, I mean, like, bro, if you're gonna do this, that, and bro, that's so cheap. That's cheap. That's not even creative. You know, like, again, it's too easy. You do something more exciting. All right, these views were found to be okay. So they didn't like race, gender, and sexuality. You know what? And from a different perspective, you got to give the gamer community some props. Where even this is the line for them. Like typically, gamers don't like this stuff. Even though, yeah, you see some toxic shit. Like typically, this is like not good for gamers. So if this is the heart and the sentiment of gamers, bro, come on, community is awesome. These views were found to be similar in the esports communities, with assertions that the acceptability of trash talk depend on whether the topic was centered on a player's performance or their personal issues. Absolutely. You know what? This is also giving me like the guidelines and the rules of trash talking. Like stay away from these things. Everything else on their performance, fair game. Trashing and taunting has to be respectful. Yes. Yes. All I'm thinking about is like that scene from White Chicks. Oh, you want to talk about mamas? You want to talk about mama? You know, that's the kind of like banter trash talk I want. You want to talk about mamas? Like that's what's up. All right, you wouldn't bring up pros, sick father or something like that. A bit of gesture, a choke, or telling your opponent their shit is just psychological warfare. Fair. I mean, maybe that's it. Like, maybe the thought even is like, okay, what is my goal of the trash talk? Is it to like express respect and friendship and for hype and to get more views to this game? Or is my goal to cause psychological damage and warfare respectfully? Or is it just to attack somebody else? Like, I think that's important to ask yourself when you're thinking about trash talk and what you want it to do and the effect of it, you know, versus just like doing it. So again, intentional trash talk is what we talk about. The current status of the team/player also influence perspectives of trash talk, with feelings of acceptance varying based on prominence of skill level. Honestly, I don't see any problems with trash talk if they can back it up. Damn. If they can back it up. I mean, at the same time, it's kind of funny if people are trash talking you and they can't back it up. It's like that little yappy dog that you know, Dobby. Oh no. To whether the team would trash talk a lesser opponent. I mean, there you go. Rule of thumb is never punch down. Ooh, I feel like that is the rule of the internet also. You know? And also, I also like this sentiment. I'd also extend the sentiment to not just gaming, but in life. Like, for example, if someone's flaming you or someone's making fun of you or someone's trying to cut you down, remember that. Nobody punches up. Everyone always punches down. Right? Like, if that person is making fun of you, if that person's hating on you, if that inherently, if this rule applies, which it does, they are acknowledging that they are lower than you. Because if they were actually higher than you and punched up, you know, and punched down to you, that's kind of stupid. You know? Like, if they punch down, that's really dumb. Like, if they actually were higher and better, smarter, or whatever, prettier, awesomer than you, then they wouldn't be making fun of you because that's easy to pray. That's pretty dick, you know? But because they're insulting you and they put you in this place of power, that means they must think highly of you. So, if somebody also flames you, or in social life or whatever, just know that you won. If they can't keep your name out your mouth, you've won. Because again, nobody punches down. Everyone punches down. Alright. Okay, there's some other rules. Okay, skill. This is 0.1. This is 0.2. Trash. Okay. It's so funny. I love that these are fucking trash talking rules, bro. Okay. Alright. Team 1 are favorites versus Team 2 and Team 3, so BMing them a little bit is seen as an imbalance. Trash talking. Your equals or superiors can be exciting, though. The morality of trash talk was questioned, were deemed excessive. Pro player was overdoing it yesterday with shooting dead bodies. No need to do things like that every round. Lastly, the okay. Lastly, the context of trash talk also alters. Not as bright. Lastly, the concept of trash talk alters if it was used as a means to offend the opposing team or to defend oneself. Purpose. This isn't your average individual. It's a competitive guy before finals who's asked in front of a camera and a crowd to respond to someone confidently saying his team will lose. Of course he will defend himself. Okay. This is so fun. Okay, this is the... I'll title this. So... I'm learning a lot. This is great. All right, moderating. What was this called? Okay, this is called. Oh my god, that looks like bad. Okay. This is so funny. I never thought I'd be doing research like this, but here we are. Here we is. All right. The rules. All right. The next one. The fuck? Okay, this is gonna be actually really interesting. Okay, this is called module. This is called moderating attributes. This one is called behavioral All right. Moderating attributes, behavior attributes. Okay. Outcome, expectations, and functionality. Chung defined two forms of behavioral attributes. Okay. Outcome, expectations, and functionality. Okay. Outcome expectations refer to when social norms become inconsequential if the benefits of the outcome are of high value. For example, one spectator said that a player were trying to get the mental advantage by rubbing salt in the wound. Functionality. Oh, I see. Okay, so this is like the reason? Refer to when social norms become inconsequential if the benefits outcome. Oh. So basically, I'm trying to do this. I know that it's bad, but it's worth it because I'm trying to get this thing. Okay, functionality is based on CAT's functions of attributes in line with these. Table 6 illustrates how esport consumers view these functions with trash talk, and it was evident that the behavioral intentions behind trash talk vary depending on the motives towards its act. Okay. Okay. Look at this. It's funny. Functionality behavior. I'm trying to. It's the motive. What's the purpose? Okay. Okay. So. Interesting. Okay, so behavioral attributes is if. Okay, this is functionality. Functionality. If. Okay. If if benefits are of high value. It's okay. I think that's really funny. And functionality is okay. Oh, it's not functionality. This is outcome expectation. Okay, outcome expectation and functionality is. This is behavioral intentions. Depends on motive. I guess this is not a really okay or not, but this is the way they kind of understand it. Wow. Okay, individual. All right, cost. Normative influence changes depending on perception of behaviors and monetary costs. For esports consumer, costs predominantly refer to the type of tournament players competed in. For higher monetary costs, more prestigious tournaments, blah, 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 would deter players from engaging in trash talk. Wow, I did not know that cost. But okay, so this is higher cost, monetary cost of game equal less trash talk. Interesting. I bet you it's because they're too focused. They're not focused on the trash talking individuals. They're probably more focused on competing. That is my guess. Higher money costs deter players. You probably get to they're also probably deterred because you probably get fined more if you kind of mess up the trash talk and you're kind of a dick, you know what I mean? As noted by one consumer, think about competing on a stage to secure an extra 35K and potentially on a potential 430K on top of that. It's not too far. It's not far too serious. It's competition, bruh. However, Chung and Rimmel identified that not all costs are monetary and could also be classified through subjective perception. In esports, trash talk can be seen as a form of distraction. It's purely personal. Some players will flame and blame others. Some keep their cool all the time. As the skill difference is so little in the pro scene, you are better off practicing 24/7 than blaming and shit talking others. Interesting. Interesting. Interessante. I never thought about that. And I wonder what the perceived number would be to make the thing very serious, where you would actually experience a decrease in trash talk because you're focused on the thing, you know? Privacy. Across Reddit forums, each esports consumer acknowledged that their understanding of player relationships and frequency of trash talk is limited. If an action occurs offline or not within tournaments. This thread discussed the the forms of trash talk occurring. Excuse me. Where is it? Occurring in competitive CS:GO matches. One spectator noted that the competitors observed the in-game chat and argued how it could have prevented other players from engaging in trash talk. The difference is American football players diss each other on the field, when they aren't mic'd up. CS players have everything recorded. Unless they make a secret channel to chat that the public doesn't see, they're generally under greater scrutiny. I see. That's interesting, actually. Never thought about that. All right. Individual attributes. All right. We will finish this next time. There's a lot. All right. Self-monitoring, group involvement, and ego identity. Interesting. Beyond behavioral attributes, consumers observe the individual attributes of professional players and how they influence behaviors. For instance, self-monitoring refers to regulating one's behaviors to ensure an appropriate and desirable public appearance. In one aspect, spectators believe that players trash talk to promote hype for the community. It's just a bit of banter up to up the stakes and nothing more. A sizable portion of this community have been asking for more of this. True. Professional Rainbow Six player just tries to be a little toxic to build the scene. I think drama is interesting. Is just interesting, and being respectful all the time gets boring, and understands that and tries to bring eyeballs to the screen. Okay, fair. So, if this person wants to do this, self-monitoring. Likewise, the higher group involvement is likely to increase influence of social norms behavior for the goal to fit in with the group identity central to one's self-concept. Trash talk could negatively affect group involvement, and spectators noticed the caution they perceived players to implement towards its use. It's always trash talk until some people don't like what's being said. The drama on Reddit and social media is why players don't trash talk in the first place. This was observed in another discussion. As a professional, if you have beef, you take it up with that person in a DM or something similar, or real life. You don't just blow shit up publicly because it makes you look like an asshole and you burn a lot of bridges. As an org, do you want to hire a player that's liable to vehement shit talk? Vehemently. I can say it, but I can't read it. Anyway, as soon as his contract runs out. True. Some consumers were also aware that players can be hesitant to trash talk as it can diminish their esports team's reputation. It's true. Trash talk is an issue when they are representing an org and sponsors. It's a double-edged blade. Money talks, and if you're not Forest, GTR, Simple, C9, who have built a huge band, okay, then shit talking can make you stand out and bring in that attention. But if your players are kids who don't know where to draw the line, and you have the potential to cause a huge PR shitstorm, that attention becomes a negative one. Yeah, it sounds like knowing the line is super important. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Fit in. Nice. All right. All right. In contrast, higher ego identity perceives that certain personal attributes could go against contextual norms. Professional players can develop villain personas where their actions during tournaments are exaggerated and thespian compared to their behavior out of the game. Here, fans talk about the enjoyment of seeing villain identities and that they provide entertainment and other impacts on the community. Ego identity. I think this is important too. If blank ever broke his whole demeanor, it would be ruined. It's the fact that he literally never quits it and acts like a normal person. Like, he's not a bad dude or anything, but clearly behind the scenes, he's just another guy. But when the cameras are on, he's an audience dude, just 100% deadpan shit talking with no limits. It's amazing. All right, emotional intelligence. Yes. Honestly, I bet you, if this thing says that if you have high EQ, your emotional, if you have high EQ, I'm guessing you also have high shit talk ability. Okay. All right, trash talk literature has debated its function as a form of psychological advantage. And Delaney, emotional intelligence. is defined as the mental ability to handle emotional information influenced by peers. I should really change the color for like definitions and stuff. Okay, here we are. It can be understood that a core individual, it can be understood that a core individual attribute for trash talk is to prevent it overcoming and distracting the player's performance, or to use as advantage. Regarding testing mental commitment, one user stated, taunting should be a legitimate strategy that targets the opponent's mental weakness. That said, I fully expect pros to have the mental fortitude to ignore the taunting. So emotional intelligence, to me, in this instance, sounds like they're also using it as a form of mental fortitude. Okay. Strong EI equals better handling of trash. I think that's right. This is bonkers. Okay, this is smart though. I see where they're going with this. Age. A common agreement among esports consumers is how the competitive scene attracts not only a younger audience, but also young professional talent. As such, consumers reflected on the age of players and how these players, although are adults, are still kids that average 19-year-olds aren't experience a lot of emotional maturity that older traditional players have. This seems to be it's crazy to think, man, that these pros are like 19, 18, 17, 16, and old pros are like 25. And I just think just like literally superimposing cognitive development on top of the ages of these players, it's insane that they can do these things. You know, their brains aren't fully cooked, thus they don't have the emotional maturity. You know, they don't have life experience, but you're expecting them to play at a high level with left to their own devices, you know? Like it's wild. So I do think personally that they're going to see the benefits of age and experience in gaming, either through the coaching staff, either through like IGLs or leadership. But I do think in the near future, you will see older esports professionals or staff in their 40s that aren't players, you know? All right, self-efficacy, baby. As someone's confidence to exert personal control. Consumers observe that the pressure and impulse could overwhelm a professional player, resulting, if a need to, let off steam and trash talk towards an opponent and reduce their self-efficacy. One consumer perceived, it's an incredible high-pressure situation. These guys are pumping with adrenaline, and this is how they let it off. When they are taunting the other team, they aren't actually trying to insult them. It's how they vent their emotions. Okay, so self-efficacy, and they're saying trash talk is a form of self-regulation. That's interesting. I guess I can see that angle. I guess. See, trash talk as form of self-regulation of emotional. That's interesting. That's interesting. I never thought of it like that, but I guess so. This was further reiterated in another Reddit discussions. To be fair, they all get caught up in the moment. Most of the team guys get on with and play with Team 2 guys weekly on stream scrims, etc. It's not likely like they hate each other. They just have a good banter in the heat of the moment. However, it is also noted that the impulses could be directed towards one's team members in an effort to further increase performance. I don't know. I don't even get how you can take it out of context. This is so clearly just motivational talk to hype up your team. But we just had Twitch chat go crazy, laughing and hating the shock against player 1 when player 2 said something like, "We're so much better than blank. Fuck them." They didn't say that. I don't know if that's what they said, but that's what I said. I don't get why some people just try their hardest to take the worst way possible. Oh my god. I mean, I guess as a way to in banter as a way. I can see this. At the same time, I can also see this falling off the railings. Like, sure, I think you can probably try to trash talk or like, bro, these guys are shit, you got it. You know, or like, bro, your shit, what's happening? Lock the fuck in. Like, I think that could help, but at the same time, if you don't have that relationship with your team members, it may not be great. Okay, we're almost there. Did we finish? Okay. Maybe we... And then we shall say over here. Okay, I think this is this. I think this is... This is so insane. Okay, I'm gonna zoom in here. And again, I know that you have no idea what I'm talking about, but I'll show you. All right. All right. As a professional, external monitoring. As a professional environment, esports are governed with through external monitoring, where tournament organizers and game developers can enforce rules and sanctions. Comparing esports to conventional sports, a consumer stated, "I linked the NFL rules, taunting not allowed." I mean, every league has rules like that, but it doesn't stop players from trying to gain advantages they can over their opponent. In regard to the esports scene itself, a consumer noted that a professional player's behavior outside of the competitive scene is also observed by the community and officials. Fair. I think being a pro player for a certain game requires you to behave well in the particular game, and everything which happens in game and outside of it in its community is relevant to a pro player's career. It's true. So, in this case, being toxic towards a player, other players in R6 definitely warranted the attention it got. I mean, yeah. This is Theo. Yeah, perfect. All right, ambiguity. As a multicultural environment, esports consumers emphasize that cultural differences between players can impact their intentions to engage in trash talk. Esports is an international scene. Bro, honestly, best trash talk I've ever heard, French. French trash talk is like, oh, s'il vous plaît. It's so fancy. I love it. I fucking love French. I love listening to French, but hearing them be emotive and like trashy talky, oh, it's kind of a turn on. It's kind of attractive. So if you want to trash talk me, do it in French. Esports is an international scene, and each of the chosen FPS communities compete across various regions and international tournaments. Culture clashes and second English professional players could impact their willingness to participate in trash talk. We're also dealing with people who don't speak English as a primary language, so if they trash talk, it's good for their culture. It may sound ridiculous when they translate to English. Maybe as a culture thing, I'd say for most people in Germany, this behavior appears to be way too aggressive. Never liked the people who lost their minds about a competition. Luckily for me, those people hardly win anything because they can't stay cool. Okay. It's hilarious that like trash talk is only effective if you do it in the correct language. That's true though, or like if I can speak the language proficiently, maybe I'll be more likely to say it. But if I can only say "ibe bintui" in Chinese, like or Mandarin, I won't probably trash talk in Mandarin. You know, impersonal discussion and media exposure. Interpersonal, excuse me. Esports consumers can be aware of the interpersonal discussions established around trash talk. Yet, as with conventional sports, esports consumers can engage in harsh online practices towards professional players. Formations of online witch hunts and the promotion of drama has previously been associated with acts that go against the social media norms of esports. In this study, it is believed that their discussions were observed among professional players, which could prevent them from engaging in trash talk. Definitely love the shit talking. Come on now, hardly shit talking, more like banter from ex-player, even though it backfires. But the way fans react because they have never done anything competitive in their life is probably why most people refrain from shit talking. Media exposure further aids in the interpersonal discussion where consumers immerse in digital environments and study the norms of given themes. In this case, it is the professional. In this case, is the professional players who are the consumers looking towards the discussions of esports communities to observe the perceived acceptability of trash talk. Interesting. Okay, so this is home. Interesting. Okay, I'm trying to think about how to write this. I believe there's discussion. This is like the community reactions, and then I would say media exposure is media's reaction. Okay. It doesn't matter if he thinks it's not disrespectful. The perception by the others does. The way our society works is that an individual conforms to the society. If they do not conform, they get ostracized in one way or another. This player may not mean anything bad by it, but its lack of self-awareness enables it to happen in the first place. It's his flaw, not everyone else's. Interesting. Another user responded to this by stating that professional players should be able to express personal emotions in a tournament setting. I am torn. On one hand, I agree with you wholeheartedly. On the other, I think that it's within the realm of competition and sporting. There's a room for people to express themselves with raw emotion. The key here is finding the balance. Perhaps you need to tone it down a bit. Right. All right. General discussion. Fucking got this, baby. We're not going to read this part. We're going to read this part. All right. This study aimed to investigate how communities react, judge, and analyze acts of trash talk witnessed in esports. Through a conceptual framework by Chung and Rimmel, this study uncovered not only how social norms on trash talk are observed, but also how esports communities judge and analyze in respect to underlying attributes which influence players' behavior. Based on these results, esports consumers generally believe that pro players before trash talking will elevate the social norms and reflect their modulating attributes to determine whether to engage in its practices. You think pro players think about this? I don't think pro players think about this. I think they just do it if they want to, but they don't consider all the scientific facts if I'm going to do it. Like, oh, what are the behavioral attributes? How much is this going to cost me? What is this, private or public? Like, what are some individual features, attributes? I don't think they think about this. Maybe they consider them. I think it's more of what you said right here. Where's that one with the or? Where is it? I think it's this. I think it's more. I literally think the pros do this thing. Like, most of it is impulsive, so it's either they're doing the salient attitude or they're adhering to the norm. Maybe they think about it, but bro, probably not. Bro, probably not. I think it's more of a or, not an and. And they either emphasize the norm or they emphasize their whatever, All right, with this framework, the study findings proceed to evaluate how esports consumers analyze the relationship between core social norms and modulating attributes. A single incident, for example, a player who trash talks towards their opponent before a match opens up a discussion to assess its acceptability through analyzing the social norms and the underlying salient attributes. Figure 2 summarizes the results where social norms and modulating attributes influence potential reasons professional players will or will not engage in trash talk. Attributes formulated by Chung and Rimmel conceptualize to how esports spectators observe and speculate the use of trash talk in FPS esports. This study proposes practical and theoretical contributions for investigating esports consumer behavior. First, the study offers tangible insight how consumptive needs are fulfilled within esports communities. Research on esports consumer behaviors validates how fans require social needs to be satisfied. While research in this has investigated the social atmospheric components at live esports events, this study exhibits how consumers utilize online forum discussions to engage for engagement practices within their own communities. Esports organizations and tournament developers would benefit from exploring similar methods to encapsulate spectators' needs to further understand how consumers perceive professional players' behaviors. Through the lens of Chung and Rimmel's framework, this study has further opened a plethora, that's a good word, of themes, how spectators engage within the esport environment. Whilst this research focused on trash talk, it would be no surprise that these communities apply parallel evaluations to the more imperative issues in esports. Okay, what this shows you is the social norms. This is the person gonna do the trash talk. What's the context of the trash talk? When and where, and the time and place. Or when and where, time and place, the context. Where are we? And then here's all the other factors that might make them do this thing. So they said that these 4 were the biggest, not this one. These big were the biggest, not these, and not these, but these. And then they consider this, these factors, and then do they do it? What's the intention? And then this. Fine. Yeah, I'm going to. Again, I think this is really interesting for like a nerd. But do I think people do this? No. But it's really interesting how they break it down of these are the factors that may influence trash talk. All right, for instance, Johnson and that dude recently observed how esports spectators perceive and discuss cheating in esports, knowing the affiliation between written rules of its practice, the ethics behind its use, and how fans' personal experience influence their perceptions of the act. Johnson and Arabelle further concluded that investigating perspectives of cheating can become complex and alter upon various circumstances. This study proposes that frameworks such as Chung and Rimmel are beneficial in discovering underlying aspects which influence perceptions of behavior within the esports ecosystem. As the new esports scenes are constantly developing, seeing how newcomer communities formulate social norms and discuss moderating attributes and behavior within these games merit. All right, cool. I think that's very interesting. Now, let me show you what I got from this page. Okay? Yes, scary. But let's let me make it simple. All right, let's zoom this in. All right, for me, the non-nerdy part, honestly, was just this. This is the takeaways for me from this article. Yes, don't get me wrong; these are all really interesting. The factors of trash talk and why someone would do it, or what prevents someone from doing it. I think that's really interesting. But for the average person, I think this is it right here. This is all you need. Okay, and let me explain this. Let me zoom in a little bit more so we don't get distracted by the other stuff. Okay. First and foremost, what I've learned from this article, I think what I learned from this article, or what I would like to take away from the article, is you need to be intentional in your trash talk. Like, it's going to be important for you as a person to not slip in and break rules and not be a complete jerk, to understand what the purpose is. What are you trying to accomplish? Why are you saying these things? You know, are you trying to bolster yourself? Are you trying to get into the mind of your opponent? Are you just trying to be mean? I don't know. But what this article tells me is that it's going to be really important for you to know the intention. Okay. With that, I think the other important part is rule number 1 of trash talk: be respectful. I think first and foremost, what I love about gaming, traditional sports, whatever, is that it's about competition, about who's the best in its purest form. That's it. Who can do the thing better? And here's the thing: it needs to be respectful. You need to see this other person as a person, or this team as a team of people. You know, and you need to see them and treat them as such. You know, I think that's the number one thing to remember through trash talking, because if you forget that you are playing a game, if you forget you're playing a game with people, you know, now what you say and what you do may be less respectful. So, thus being flame, thus actually starting a fight, thus sounding a dick. So, with that, rule number 1, be respectful. Because with respect, this trash talk is friendly banter. But without respect, now we're starting a fight. You know, so with that, it's important for you to have high emotional intelligence and understand the line, either through the social line, this game's cultures line, or this game's community, because each one is different. It's important that you know the line and which not to cross. Now, when it comes to trash talk, if you're going to do it and you're serious about it, it's important that you have the skill to back it up. Or not. Like, for example, if you're ironically doing it, like you're just trash talking this other team because they're really good, and you're trying to bring hype to the thing, that's fine. At the same time, if you bring the trash talk and then you get licked, and that wasn't on purpose, or like you knew that wasn't not gonna that wasn't supposed to happen, now it seems kind of stupid. And maybe you even broke your own mental, because you're saying all this stuff and now you got to follow it up, and if you can't, rough, you know. So, on that end, rule number 2, never punch down. So if you're trash talking somebody that is a worser team objectively, now you're just being a jerk. You know, like, no one likes that. No one likes a bully. So, I mean, never punch down. And that conversely means if someone is trash talking you, that might also might give you some idea of how high in regard or how much respect that they have for you and what you can do and your team, you know? So take that as the converse. Interesting thought. Also, rule number 3, excessive is bad. You know, a little bit of trash talk or just that Goldilocks zone of trash talk, not too sweet, not too ranted, just right now. Or like, you know, not too much, not too little bit, but there's a sweet spot for trash talk. And if not, it gets a little excessive, it gets old, it gets stale, and then you become repetitive. So there is a sweet spot to it. Find it. Lastly, I guess, I mean, this is just a fun fact. If you're defending yourself, or if someone reciprocates the trash talk, or they're on the mic and they need to say something because they get cornered by a announcer or a host or something, I try not to take that try not to take that too personally, and know that they're just saying these things because, you know, they're defending themselves and what was said about them. So I think if you follow these three rules of trash talking, it can help you be a little more intentional. It can help you stay out of trouble, and it can help you determine the difference between friendly banter and someone trying to fight you. All right. Whew. Man, that was fun. I'm not gonna lie. The second half was really nerdy. The first half was really applicable. But I hope y'all were able to get something out of it. And I hope I didn't create trolls. That wasn't the goal of this, but if I did, whoopsies. My goal was to create more intentional trash talkers or banters, and that's what we want. Also, I guess the other takeaway is the higher your EQ, the better trash talker you are. You know what I mean? All right. Well, thank you so much for coming. Oh man, I got all excited. I thought I was gonna have a friend, and I just realized that it's not my friend. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming tonight. I hope you learned a little bit about trash talking. I hope you learned a little bit about some factors that may prevent or tantalize the trash talking. And I hope you took some things for yourself. And if not, hey, you know what? There's always next time. If you enjoyed what you saw and you liked it, please give me a follow or head to my website, psychsensei.com, and there you can fill out a free consultation form. You and I can sit down and figure out what's kind of going on and help you on your way. And also, while you're there, you might as well follow all the other stuff: my Instagram, my TikTok, my Twitter, my Facebook, my LinkedIn, my YouTube, all of it there, all the resources. Try to drop something every single day. It's a funny sandwich, so I have 2 memes and then 2 actual things of content. But follow me, check that stuff up. Never miss a zany thought. And you know what? My schedule's getting pretty filled, you know, with my therapy job, which is kind of crazy. 1 month in, and I almost have 20 clients, so it's my full time now. But still trying to find some time to do some esports and things like that. So hit me up. Let's have some fun. All right, friends. Please. Oh, what I meant to say was, because of that, I will be back on Friday. Same time, same place, Friday. Seems to be the day to stream. So, thank you so much. I hope you guys are safe. Take it easy. Remember, stronger mental wins. And love ya. Bye.